Alright, so welcome back. In this lesson we're going to be studying the movements of the one chord to the two chord, as well as some other common progressions. And of course we're going to do these in every key like we've done in the other lessons. But the first one I want to start off with, and we went over this briefly in the last lesson, was the 1 to the 2, which is like C to D minor, just straight there movement. Let me just brush up. We'll start off brushing up on that real quick, and then go into some other little more difficult ones. Okay, so you're going to have, of course, in the key of C, C to D minor, or D minor 7. You want to give it a little bit better sound. Minor 7 always sounds better, or a 2 chord always sounds better as a minor when it's a minor 7. Okay, alright, the key of D flat. D flat to E flat minor. Okay, in the key of D, D to E minor. You see, it has a very distinctive sound. Key of E flat to F minor. Alright, key of E to F sharp minor. Key of F to G minor. Okay, key of G flat to A flat minor. Alright, the key of G to A minor. Key of A flat to B flat minor. Key of A to B minor. Key of B flat to C minor. And finally the key of B to C sharp minor, or D flat minor. Alright, now of course I would recommend going through and practicing these as well with the sevenths being added, if you know the sevenths. Alright, so that's just straight there. Another really common movement that we see going to the 2 is actually doesn't start on the 1 chord, but actually starts on the 4 chord and goes to the 2 chord. Alright, so let's say we're playing in the key of C. Okay, and that's usually followed by the 5 chord. And then back to the 1. Okay, so this is kind of a compound progression, but basically just remember 4 to the 2, and then the 2 usually goes to the 5. Okay, so F to D minor. Okay, we're in the key of D flat, G flat to E flat minor, and then of course you'd go to the 5 chord, A flat, and then back to the 1 chord, D flat. Alright, one more time. D flat, G flat, E flat minor, A flat, and then D flat to end it. You know, as we end on our first inversion, which is how we usually end a song on the 1 chord. Okay, let's go to the key of D, D, G, E minor. So I'm going to just do the 7th because it sounds better. A, back to the 1. Okay, let's go to the key of E flat to A flat, F minor 7, B flat, back to the 1, E flat. Alright, let's go to E. Start with the E to A. Okay, F sharp minor, or F sharp minor 7, to B flat, or to B, I'm sorry, and then to E. Okay, so that one's E, A, F sharp minor, B, E. Okay, key of F, B flat, G minor, C, back to F. Okay, key of G flat, B, A flat minor, D flat, back to G flat. Okay, G, C, A minor, D, and then end on a G. Alright, A flat to D flat, B flat minor, E flat, end it on an A flat. Okay, A to D, B minor, E, back to your 1 to A. Okay, B flat, E flat, C minor, F, and then on your 1. Okay, B goes to E, sharp minor, G flat, ended on a B. Okay, so that's basically, that's a very basic progression in that we're just using the 1, the 4, the 5, your 3 main chords, but you're also throwing in the minor 2. So that's all you're really doing there. Now another really common progression we see going from the 4 to the 2 is this one. And in this one we go, so you start off on the 1, although we may not do that, when we're playing the song. But we're doing 1, do it for 4 beats, F. You see a little walk down to the 1/3 before you get to the 2. Okay? So we'll do it like this, just to give it a little more time. So do, on this one you do C, F, C over E, D minor, then G, and then C. Okay? So basically what you're doing is you're going from your 4 to your 3 to your 2, back to your 5 and to your 1. So the same thing we just did, but you're throwing in the 3 chord in between the 4 and the 2. And that's something we do really commonly. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other. And then D minor. Jesus is the way. Jesus is. Anytime you see that progression where it goes F to C over E, you pretty much guarantee the next chord is going to be a D minor. It almost always goes 4, 3, 2. And then, of course, after the 2, you can pretty much guarantee it's going back to the 5. From the 5 always goes to the 1, most of the time. So it's pretty easy. Of course, you want to listen to your ear. Remember, we're learning to recognize these voicings. We're learning to recognize, okay, I just went to the 4, okay, went to the 1/3, okay, went to the 2. We're learning to recognize each one of these just like we learn to recognize the voice of somebody that we know. So that's basically how this works, is that you're starting to learn to recognize these voices of these numbers of the major scales. Hopefully that's starting to make sense to you. So let's go ahead and practice that. Start off on your 1, 4, 1/3, 2, 5, back to your 1. Okay, we go to D flat. With the G flat, D flat over F, E flat minor, A flat, which is your 5, and end it on your 1. Okay, D, G, D over F sharp, E minor, to A, end it on D. Okay, E flat, A flat, E flat over G, F minor, B flat, which is your 5, because you're in the key of E flat, and then on E flat. Okay, E to A, E over G sharp, F sharp minor, to B, end it on your 1 on E. Okay, F, B flat, F over A, G minor, C, end it on F. Okay, G flat for your 1, go to B, your 4, 1/3, G flat over B flat, A flat minor, which is your 2, okay, to D flat, which is your 5, and then on your 1, which is G flat. Okay, G, C, G over B, A minor, D, your 5, and then on G, your 1. Okay, A flat, D flat, A flat over C, B flat minor, E flat, and end it on your 1. A flat. Okay. Let's go to A. D. A over C sharp. B minor. E. and end it on an A. Okay. B flat. E flat. B flat over D. C minor. F. End it on B flat. Okay, B, E, B over D sharp, C sharp minor, your 2, F sharp or G flat, which is your 5, and then to B. Okay, so that's another really common 2 progression that you want to know. You want to really be able to add to your repertoire. Sounds very worshipful. That's a very common one. Another one that we see a lot of is, and we're talking about the minor 2 as well here. This isn't even dealing with the major 2, although it will function. They'll function pretty much the same way. You're just going to learn how to hear the different sounds. So we'll have to give you some different progressions to practice that also. Another common movement with the 2 is this right here. It's the 1, the sharp 1 to the minor 2. Okay. Now, what we did in our right hand is we played an A chord, okay, an A major chord over C sharp, okay? So it's basically your 6th chord over your sharp 1, okay, and that's very common. Okay, so what you're going to do, 1 chord, 6 over your sharp 1 to your minor 2, and then that's usually followed by your 5, and then to your 1, okay? We're not going to follow it out to the 5 to the 1 for every single key, but just bear in mind that the 2 pretty much always is followed by the 5 chord. Okay, so, and that's known as the circle of 4th, circle of 5ths, whichever way you want to look at it. You know, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4. You know, circle of 4ths basically goes C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, until you're back to C. Then you're basically moving up from 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, on and on. Now the circle of 5ths is just the circle of 4ths backwards, so people talk about these, don't get confused, but the circle of 5ths would be like C to G to D to A, E, B, G flat, D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, F, and then you're back to C. So you're basically going from 1 to 5, 1 to 5, over and over again. So that's basically how the circle of 4ths, circle of 5ths work. Circle of 4ths, in my opinion, is more important to know, although some people prefer to both of them equally, like they're the same thing. They're really not. But the circle of 4ths is truly how music works. It's in a 4th movement, and that's why you see, like for instance here, the 6th chord basically going to the 2 chord, 2 chord going to the 5 chord, 5 chord going to the 1 chord. The 1 a lot of times will go to the 4. You're back to your 2 minor, which goes to the 5, which goes to the C, which ends it. So that's the circle of 4ths. Is just, you know, and you can actually take all music, like I said, moves to the 5 chord because the 5 chord likes to move to the 1 chord. So you're eventually going to end up in most songs at the end of it on the 5 chord at the end of the chorus, and then after the 5 chord, it's going to go on to end on the 1 chord. So there's many different ways you can go to the 5 chord. For instance, 2 to 5, but then the 6 likes to go to the 2, so then you could do 6 to 5. But then the 3 likes to go to the 6, see the circle of 4ths. 3, 6, so then the 6 goes to the 2 to the 5. And then you can go back as far as you want, you know. The 7 likes to go to the 3, because that's they're a 4th, you know, that's the 4th apart. So 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. You know, or you could even go farther back than that. You can do, well, the sharp 4 likes to go to the 7, which likes to go to the 3, which likes to go to the 6, to the 2, to the 5, to the 1. So you can really be as ridiculous about it as you want, and go as, you know, you can go as far as you want with it. You could even go, you can even go as far back as say, okay, well the sharp 1 likes to go to the sharp 4, which likes to go to the, you know, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So you can really, like, you know, you can play almost every single note of the keyboard, just trying to get back to the 5 chord. And a lot of people do this in Black Gospel, and we probably won't get into anything that crazy in this course because we're just trying to teach you, how to get started on that road and how to learn the progressions that you're going to hear most of the time, not the weird, crazy progressions that you're going to hear, every once in a blue moon. So to speak. So let's go ahead and keep going over that 1 to the 6 to the sharp 1 to the minor 2. Okay, let's go to D flat. I'm sorry, D flat, B flat over D, E flat minor. Okay, D, B over D sharp to E minor. Okay, E flat, C over E, F minor. Okay, E, D flat over F, F sharp minor. Okay, F, D over F sharp, G minor. Okay, G flat, E flat over G, A flat minor. And you'll notice when I'm playing these songs in my left hand, when I go up to this, of course we do the rolling bass line, G flat, D flat, G flat. You've probably seen me doing that, or you already know how to do it. When I go up to this E flat over G, it's very important that I mirror in the left hand what my chord is in the right hand. So I'm not playing a G, D, G. I'm playing a G, E flat, G, because there's an E flat, G. I'm mirroring the notes in my right hand. The left hand is just an extension of what the right hand is doing. You're holding on the bass note, and then whatever you play up from there is basically whatever's in the right hand. Okay, so let's go to G and do it. E over G sharp to A minor. Okay, A flat, F over A, B flat minor. Okay, A, G flat over B flat, B minor. Okay, B flat, G over B, C minor. Okay, B, A flat over C, and then C sharp minor. Very common progression. You could also just play the straight 6 chord, but it sounds really, really plain. Most songs will not do that. Most songs will be like, we'll play what I just played, which is, the song "Worthy, Worthy." Worthy, you are worthy, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. You are worthy. Okay, so you're gonna you'll hear that a lot in songs, in gospel songs. There's a lot of different songs that do that. I'm not going to go over every single one of them that do, but just pay attention. You're going to hear that a lot, and that happens a lot with minor chords in general, in that you walk up to them using that type of movement. In other words, like we're talking about the fourths, for instance, sometimes we're going to the 6th chord, and they'll do a little walk up like E over G sharp to the minor 6. Or, for instance, if you're in the key of F, they'll do like an A over C sharp to the D minor. Okay, they'll use basically that 3 over the note right before the minor chord to go to the 6. Okay, so you'll hear this kind of movement a lot. You even hear it, going, and we'll cover this more here in a minute after I'm done teaching you the minor 2 progressions. You'll hear this a lot going like in the major 2 going to the 5 and ending on the 1. Another really common progression we use on the 2 is, and you'll hear this a lot, is the minor 3, flat minor 3 to the minor 2. Now this is what we call a chromatic movement. Okay, and usually I like to throw in the 7th, so I'm going to do that because it has a much better sound. So you did an E minor 7, E flat minor 7, D minor 7, G, and then C. Okay, let's do it in D flat. And that's movement you hear a lot, and basically it's a chromatic movement. So So in this key it'd be F minor 7, E minor 7, E flat minor 7, A flat, D flat. Okay, let's do it in D. And I'm just going to go straight to it here, make it a little simpler. So 1, F sharp minor 7, F minor 7, E minor 7, A, D. Okay, E flat, G minor 7, F sharp minor 7, F minor 7, B flat, E flat. Okay, E, A flat minor 7, G minor 7, F sharp minor 7, B, and then E. Okay, F, A minor 7, A flat minor 7, G minor 7, C, and then F. Okay, G flat, B flat minor 7, A minor 7, A flat minor 7, D flat, then back to G flat, G, B minor 7, B flat minor 7, A minor 7, D, G. So remember, we're starting on our minor 3 and walking down to the minor 2, just using the note that's in between and the chord that's in between. Okay, A flat, C minor 7, B minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat, A flat. Okay, A, C sharp minor 7, C minor 7, B minor 7, E, A. Okay, B flat, D minor 7, D flat minor 7, C minor 7, F, and then B flat again. Okay, B, E flat minor 7, D minor 7, C sharp minor 7, G flat, and then B. And you can pretty much use this anytime you come to the 2 chord. You hear it in a lot of songs. Of course, I like to use the old song "Jesus is the Answer" because it covers so many different. There's so many. You can pretty much play any progression in there that's found in music. It seems like, but like you can kind of throw it in here. Jesus is. Kind of just throw it in there real quick. Pretty much anytime you're going to go to that 2 chord, you can kind of do that. Okay, so that's another really common one for the minor 2 as well. Now, in regards to, we've probably shown you enough minor 2 stuff here. One last one I do want to do that's just a real simple one, and I know we went over this last time, and I'm just going to remind you briefly here, but it's 1 to the minor 6, to the minor 2, to the 5, to the 1. This is probably the most important progression to remember going from the 1 to the 2, other than this, just the straight there. The 1, 6, 2, 5, if you don't remember anything else from this lesson, remember that progression, because that is probably the most important one to remember. Okay, practice it with the 7ths, if you know the minor 7ths. Practice it with the suspended 2s if you know those. If you don't worry about it, just practice it with straight major and minor chords. Okay, so just a reminder about that, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. Always practice that, learn it in every key. Like I said, I'm pretty confident we went over that in the last lesson, but just be sure to practice that in all your keys. Real important progression. Now, as far as the major 2 on the 2 chord, when we do majors many times, and most of the time it's going to be like a 2-7, you know, a D7 or a D9, if you know that, or a D2. It's pretty much not going to be just a plain D chord. Usually it's a 7th or a D9. But you hear this sound a lot, and usually it's played in this inversion. But you know, it can be played in all different inversions. But we use it, you know, like Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Okay, so we use it there in Amazing Grace, and another really common progression. Wretch like me. You know, you see that a lot. The 6, and following the 6, it goes, instead of to that minor 2, it goes to a major 2. Now, this will be something that will take a little bit of time to learn how to do. It's not something that you're going to just see all the time. It's going to be something that you're also going to have a tough time hearing at first. You're not going to have an easy time just hearing, oh, is that a minor 2, is that a major 2? But eventually, if you'll practice these exercises, practice them in every single key every day for about a week or so, you will get them down, and you will know them and know them well. So, okay, so in C, C to A minor, to D, to G, then back to C. Okay, D flat, did it in 3 timing. B flat minor, E flat, A flat, back to D flat. Okay, in the key of D, B minor, E7. I'm just going to use the 7s, assuming you know those. A7, back to D. Key of E flat, C minor, F7, B flat, back to E flat. Okay, key of E, C sharp minor, G flat, B, ended on an E. Okay, F, D minor, G7, C, ended on your F. Okay, G flat, E flat minor, A flat 7, or just A flat, and then D flat, ended on G flat. Okay, G, E minor, A, D, G. Okay, A flat, F minor, B flat, E flat, and then A flat. Okay, A, F sharp minor, B, E, ended on an A. Okay, B flat, G minor, C, F, ended on B flat. Okay, B, A flat minor, D flat, G flat, ended on B. Okay, so that's the 1 to the minor 6, to the major 2, usually with the 7th, to the 5, and then to the 1 progression. Remember that one, like I said, we use that in Amazing Grace. It's used in many, many other songs. Peace, peace, wonderful peace. Peace, peace, wonderful peace, coming down from the Father above. Another really common thing you hear in these kind of songs is it goes from that major 2, Father above, goes to the minor 2, and then to the 5. Okay, you'll hear that a lot in playing as well. I'm coming down from the Father above. So that's another really common one you'll hear a lot. And those are pretty much the progressions you're going to hear on the 2 chord. There's not going to be a whole ton of a slew of other ones that you're going to be hearing. Those are really your main ones there. So you'll start trying to recognize these when you're playing out of the Apostolic Praise Chorus books, when you're playing just in general off chord sheets. Start trying to recognize these movements and start saying, hey, wow, I recognize that. And see, then what happens, instead of being glued to the chord sheet and having just to read off the chord sheet, you just have to say, oh, well, I know this progression, and then I remember this progression. So, and what happens is you start hearing it in your head, and then you don't have to worry about using the chord sheet anymore because you know the song. And I remember many times in choir practice, they give me a chord sheet, and I would learn to play off the chord sheet. And I would always have problems remembering that song, it seemed like, until I just sat down with the CD and played it. And the reason was, it really wasn't really in my head, it was just something that I visualized. And for some reason, the ear has a much better memory than the eye does, I guess. So it's something that you want to learn how to do when you're learning new songs. Don't just try to get the chord sheet for it, but try to sit down and listen with it, and then double check yourself against the chord sheet. Now, if you're just playing for practice, or you just need to know a song for church, the common chord. I'm talking about like new songs, like new stuff that comes out. But for common choruses for church, you'll probably be okay, probably be fine. So, anyways, hope this lesson's been a blessing to you, and God bless. We'll see you back here for your next one.